to wait for another opportunity to intrude. Edna Todd was self-satisfied in the extreme, and she knew it. After turning off the lights, she climbed the stairs to the second floor. Around her, the old lodge was quiet, except for the sighs of settling boards and the faint cries of night-calling birds. The upper floor of the lodge contained 2 bedrooms, and the rest of the space was wide open and surrounded by windows. A thick yoga mat lay in the middle of the hardwood floor. In front of one window, a meditation cushion faced a short table with an altar arranged on top. With a somewhat showy grace, Edna knelt in front of the yoga mat, touched her head to the ground, and then unfurled into a headstand, imagining herself opening like an alien flower greeting 3 suns. Her agile toes, affixed to large feet, flexed up and down as she maintained her inversion for exactly 5 minutes. When she was finished infusing her brain with blood, she settled into her meditation nest. On the low altar sat a small stone statue of Buddha, flanked by 2 small bouquets of fresh flowers and herbs. She lit the beeswax candle, set her meditation timer, rang the silver bell 3 times, and then sat in silence, noticing thoughts as they arose, along with emotions, bodily sensations, sounds, and scents. When she got lost in thought, which happened often, she thought of Helen, who'd gone off to school in September. When the retreat was over, Edna planned to speak with Helen first to tell her the good news. Helen would be relieved not to have to execute what they had decided to call Plan B. Planning. Edna noted about the mental activity. Planning. Then she went back to focusing on sounds as they entered her ears and the feeling of her hands as they lay on her lap, until her thinking mind took center stage again. Planning, planning, plan A, complete. Or it would be once she'd informed Lest and Associates of her decision. After 45 minutes, the alarm sounded, and Edna rang the bell 3 times and bowed, touching her forehead to the floor 3 times. Then she blew out the candle and got to her feet without using her hands, feeling calm, centered, and intensely pleased with herself. The lodge and the 300-acre property were closed to guests for the off-season. Usually, Edna spent winters visiting other retreat centers and exploring her own curiosity about the world and the many spiritual practices in it. This year, however, she'd undertaken her longest ever self-retreat to give herself time to consider her future and that of the Institute. And she'd finally come to her conclusion, which had required violating the silence of her retreat. Edna rubbed the tops of her arms in a self-warming gesture since there was no one else to hug. Inside the modest washroom attached to her bedroom, Edna poured her nightly dose of liquid magnesium and calcium into a small porcelain cup and tossed it back. The supplement was her single concession to age and her postmenopausal status. She was in the midst of brushing her teeth a minute or so later when the feeling started. Her stomach lurched, and a primal alarm sounded deep inside. Edna gripped the edge of the sink and spit the gritty baking soda-based toothpaste into the hand-painted blue wash basin. Without rinsing out her mouth, she walked quickly, staggering a little, back to her bedroom, where she climbed into her neatly made bed, trying perhaps to avoid the clanging reality of what was happening inside of her. She reached over to shut off the lamp, but her hand missed and she knocked it over. It fell onto the old wooden plank floor and broke into several pieces. The sound broke through her denial. She needed help. Helen. Where was Helen? Then she remembered that Helen was in school and she was alone, horribly and completely alone. She needed to get downstairs to the office, where the landline was.